What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille, Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live once again. Just finished a late night shift, and I just wanted to reach out to whoever's out, up, and about tonight, this morning, wherever in the world you are, because this is Counterpunch Boxing News worldwide, and I am outside. Bars. I'll let the chat load. I know we have Virgil Ortiz versus Eric Lubinson today, and that should be a pretty interesting fight, even though I think Virgil, definitely is the favorite. He is Oscar De La Hoya's, I guess, his favorite fighter right now because he's the only one that he has that's been with him a minute that has been unbeaten. That you take that into consideration. You know, the Jaron Boots Ennis fight, I don't know if that'll happen next. I mean, I have my doubts about it based on what I've heard from Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, even Jaron Boots Ennis, so we don't know. But I mean, when you guys come in, hit the like button, that activates the algorithm. But yeah, man, I just wanted to reach out to you guys, man, about my previous week. I know I didn't go live anytime last week. I was busy working, messed around and got a cold on set, so I'm just getting over there now. It's turning into some kind of sinus. So I'm just sipping on a tea right now, and that's made me feel a little better. But no, man, I really missed you guys, man. Just really, haven't went live in a while. I've put out some content with the whole Clarissa Shields, Layla Ali, the whole Chris Eubank, sabotage, matchroom thing. I want to talk about all that for a minute. BKGI, yo, counterpunch to you. First off, last week, did a lot of working, did some work, did some play, had a very interesting last week. What happened last week was we know AJ went to Team Usyk to visit the camp, and that was interesting. And to talk about that for a minute, I think that's cool. AJ reminds me of a Rocky movie almost. If you think about Anthony Joshua, the losses that he has, it's almost like you could make a movie on AJ and be like the next Rocky, but actually a fighter. You know what I mean? He's just a big Brit. Started out as a young kid selling weed. You know what I mean? Then he joined the Olympic team and all the stuff surrounding that, and his, nearly his near jail sentence and all. That would have been pretty tight. A Stacks 343. What up from New Zealand, bro? What's up, man? Counterpunch to you. New Zealand in the building. My audience in New Zealand, man, you guys are really showing love in New Zealand. Like, dead ass. You guys are really showing up and showing out. So I really appreciate you guys from New Zealand, man. My New Zealanders, my Australianers, my Polynesian brothers and sisters, my Kiwis, my all-time warriors. We're coming in. LeBrown, why is Parker suspended by the BBBFC till the 22nd of November? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Because he wasn't knocked out, but, just on the top of the dome. That already pissed me off. Just hearing what you said. And just off the top of the dome, Joseph Parker, if they suspended him, they're doing it to justify the referee's decision. Yep. Again, if they suspended Joseph Parker, they're doing it to uphold or justify the referee's decision to stop the fight early. See, to me, I had no real problem with John Fury until now. See, I've always had a suspicion that John Fury really didn't like Joseph Parker because he's seen Joseph Parker as a threat. And I don't care who trains him. And I don't have anything against Andy Lee. What I'm saying is, when something gets too close to comfort, that jeopardizes his legacy, because remember, John Fury's legacy is his son's legacy, not necessarily his, because he wasn't no fighter, really. You know, he sucked as a fighter. His record was trash. So he had to look forward to what his son did. You see, now all of a sudden, he's using Joseph as an excuse for Tyson not coming back. You see what I'm saying? That's a very good question. Cool story, hero. Yeah. Two New Zealanders in the building. Uh-oh. What the F? I saw this last night on Parker's Rec. I have no idea why, Kurt. We have to talk about it, and I have to counterpunch it. So that's going to be the first video out today. But normally, this is what happens. When BBBFC suspends someone, it's because they got knocked out. And we know damn well Parker didn't get knocked out. You know what I mean? But they do that as a precautionary so he won't fight again. That's what they do. And if they did that to justify what the referee, trying to make it look more legit than it was, because if you guys seen that stoppage, you should know it's bullshit. That's right. It's bullshit. That's what's wrong. Worried about the wrong things. Get a life, man. You need to get a job. Another Another know-it-all. Tactic said hi. Counterpunch to you. Anthony Wright. Worry about other men. Stop Sharia law, deport Islam. I don't know what the hell that means. You tripping, man. You got to let the man go down. That fight was for an opportunity for the undisputed. Well, I mean, it's going to always be justice for Joseph, because Joseph was a guy that didn't supposed to get as far as he got. And if you notice, the closer he got, the more the fix had to be in place. Fabio Wardley, he's tough. Fabio Wardley's a warrior. But Fabio Wardley is limited. He's limited. He's a limited dude. He's a limited fighter. I'm just going to be real with you. Fabio Wardley is a limited fighter. And I'm saying this about Fabio, not because I'm hating on him, it's because I'm fair. See, you guys remember all those years where I said the same thing about Deontay Wilder. You got to have more than just a punch. You can't go in there thinking you're all that with a punch. Oh, I'm tough. That ain't going to save you all the time. Because pretty soon you're going to go in there and somebody's going to whoop your ass. They're going to be just as tough, but they're going to be better than you. So if you guys have a problem with me talking about Fabio Wardley in the same fashion as I talked about Deontay Wilder, well, you need to jump off right now. And that also makes me a hypocrite. I can't just, you guys just thought it was all about favoritism. If that's the case, there ain't no favoritism. I just call it how I see it. Fabio Wardley, he's a warrior, but he's limited. Just like Deontay Wilder, he was limited. He's still limited. Still happy for Wardley, but he didn't stop Parker. The ref did. Yeah. Theon boxing. Parker's stoppage was a disgrace. UK, get it together. I mean, that's the ref. And if BBBFC did that, they did that to uphold and let them know that, hey, we're okay with the decision that the referee did or made. That's all. That's all they're doing. That's all that's all they're about. They're upholding that decision. But Parker, wanted a rematch. He was okay. I think Parker, though, what he could have done, he could have played a more poker like. I think honestly he was playing possum because a lot of times, see, look, don't I don't like chicken shit refs, and what angers me so bad about it is that was a chicken shit referee. That's why I lobby for any referee to be a former fighter. You know what to look for, but these guys got to do your own research. Do your own research. You can't tell me that referee, if okay, for one, if you can't take someone getting punched in the face, you shouldn't be a referee. Kurt, who you got if Fury versus Parker happen? Fury versus Parker won't happen. It won't happen. You know, and another thing, it won't happen, but I think that Fury is a better fighter being a big man than Parker. I think Parker should have been lighter. I said it. I think Parker should have been lighter. I never liked that weight on Parker. I never liked that weight on Parker. It just gave Fabio Wardley more than an advantage that I think that he really deserved. But you got to give it to Wardley because Wardley's tough. He is a tough mother sucker. He is. Fabio Wardley, man, he took a lot of shots from Parker. But all that back and forth, meant nothing to that referee. It like for him to stop it like that, he ruined the whole fight. Just by being either chicken shit or corruptive. Kurt, who you got? Okay, let's see. Said hi. Kurt, what's up, Conrad? Francis in the building. Wardley has to be careful. He has taken a lot of damage in very little time. He will start declining in 2 years if he doesn't change something defensively. Still, you know what, Lou Brown? That makes a lot of sense because, a lot of people's calling Fabio Wardley the next Wilder. The limit that you see. But in actuality, the punches that he's taken, he could be the next Joe Joyce. See, a lot of people ain't thinking about that. A lot of people are looking at it like, man, this dude can really take a beating and this, that, and the other. Well, to keep it a buck with you, Joe Joyce needs more recognition than someone like Fabio Wardley, and I'm going to tell you why. For one, Joe Joyce got you out of there. He either made you quit or knocked you out. See, what Joe Joyce did, you can't put Fabio in there in the same circle as Joe Joyce, and a lot of people are trying to do that. They're trying to say, hey, you know what? It's two people now that stop Joe Joyce. No, motherfucker, it ain't. It's only one, and that's Joe Joyce. The juggernaut. But the problem with Joe Joyce, sure, his limited ability, his resistance to punching power and all that and those punches, but pretty soon it's going to catch up with you. And that's exactly what happened. It caught up with him. And then, he got in there with a guy that hit just as hard. And see, there's very little people that went in there with Zhang still to this day. See, we're talking about this shit about Joe Joyce is a bum and he's washed up. Man, let Joe Joyce fight as long as he wants to. If you can have a fucking Derek Chisora with 13 or 14 losses, I don't mind seeing Joe Joyce again. So we got to be fair about it. Don't worry. All Joe Joyce has to do, come in there and whoop somebody's ass. That's it. kick somebody's ass a couple times, and then you'll find out, oh, snap. Joe Joyce ain't really went anywhere. No, he hasn't. He just got in there with a big banger like Zhang. And Zhang, Zhang has knocked down the last 4 or 5 people that he's been in there with. Wilder, Caballero, which beat him. Joyce twice, right? So Caballero, Wilder, Joe Joyce twice. Who else? Philip Hergovic. This dude has put all those guys down. He ain't playing no games. Caballero's the best heavyweight other than Usyk right now. Caballero's number 2. He's number 2. See, people forget that Parker's already lost 3 times. Stu Nab, love from the UK. UK in the building. Counterpunch to you, Stu Nab. Zhang has to be the biggest puncher right now, with Wardley a close second. See, Parker, I was impressed with Parker by putting Martin McCauley down. But you don't know how much of that played into the fact that Martin McCauley was just a couch potato. Oh, yeah. Martin McCauley was a refound couch potato. He bullshitted everyone, though. I mean, it's his fault. He made everybody think that he was in better shape than he was, but he wasn't. So we don't know how much of that was just Parker being heavier and Parker being in shape and Martin McCauley out of shape. And not able to take those shots. Didn't he put Parker down? Who put Parker down? Caballero versus Wardley would be good. Yeah, but Wardley's not an idiot, and neither is Frank Warren. Frank Warren knows I'm not going to put these guys up against each other because I'm going to give my fighter Wardley the opportunity first because he's from the UK. Then if he loses to Usyk, then I may consider putting Caballero in. That's if Caballero hasn't lost yet. See, if Caballero loses, he's right out the window right with Joseph Parker because they're foreigners. That's how I'm looking at it. You're getting everyone is getting the opportunity that's from the UK for the undisputed before anybody else. That's just how it is. Think about it. Tyson Fury, he fought twice. Okay? He was going to fight a third damn time, right? If he would have came back. I don't know if that was the case. Zhang put Parker down twice. Zhang put Caballero down once. So, yeah. Who's Caballero fighting? I never heard of his opponent. It's Daniel Kinba, I think it was. Kinbol or Kimbiol or some shit like that. But he's 17-0 with 11 KOs. He's from Poland. I never heard of him. So that is a keep busy fight for Caballero. It's all it is a fight to distract Caballero from the truth. So while they're bigging him up, giving him recognition in Germany, a place where he fights out of, they're trying to set up Wardley and Usyk. Or if Usyk decides, let me drop that belt, it will be Wardley and Moses to fight for the opportunity to fight Usyk. You know what I mean? So meanwhile, they're keeping Caballero busy with this Polish fighter that we never known or heard of. Then we'll have, boom, over here, Moses and Wardley fighting for a belt. You see what I mean? So and then either one of those, whoever wins, will get the opportunity, not Caballero. You see what I'm saying? So it's still some bullshit. So they're still trying to just keep Caballero busy, shut him up, keep him busy with a fight, give him a payday, give him some recognition, give him some shine, and there you go. What are your thoughts on Jared Anderson? You know what? I just think a person, Jared Anderson is a fighter that is gifted, but I think he lacks interest. I think he lacks interest and desire for the sport. I think he would rather be doing something else. I think he would be. I think Jared Anderson would rather be robbing a liquor store or something, smoking a joint in the park, or some shit like that. Not training, not focused, not in the gym. I don't think that he wants to do that. You know, it's another case of wasted youth with Jared Anderson. I'm just going to keep it real with you. He doesn't want to do it. His physicality, speed, I think he's good, but mentally, bro, he's probably one step away from going to prison. I'm just going to be real. Jared Anderson, and I like him as a fighter, but Big Baby, I think Big Baby Part 2, I think he doesn't want it. I don't think it's in him. You know what I mean? Because it's been too long. I mean, he's fought since then. But even that fight, you could tell, like, the way he was acting, the things that he said, they told him to go to the body, and he was talking about, oh man, I don't like to punch because I don't like to hit the elbows. This man said, I don't like to hit the elbows. Duke of Sound, LOL, against who? DJ Anton, good morning from South Wales. South Wales in the building. DJ Anton, counterpunch to you. Hit that like button. Like and share, people. We're trying to get 100,000 subscribers in this piece. Sigma Wolf. He's gifted, but dude lacks the GPT Riz. It makes him mid-level. Yeah, he doesn't want it like that. I think that check that he took that ass whooping for from Bakali, I think he's still just kind of skating on that money, since that money was high payday career money. And since it was, you can tell he ain't trying to, you give him a couple of those paydays, you'll probably never hear from Jared Anderson for the next 3 or 4 years. If you give Jared Anderson $5 million, that man will be 31 years old before you see him back in the ring. You'll see him make some headlines. He'll be high speed chasing in his new Ferrari, running from the cops because he got weed on him or some bullshit, stupid shit like that. But you're not going to see him in the gym because he just wants to get paid. That's his end game. I'm just going to keep it real. That's Jared Anderson's end game. I like Jared Anderson, but his end game, his mindset is, I want to make enough money to get out of the sport and retire. He has the Gervonta Tank Davis mindset. He just ain't even did what Gervonta Tank Davis has done. And he really ain't done shit. So, there you go. Jared Anderson is missing what Wardley has. Right. But Wardley is missing what Jared Anderson has. Aha. See, Jared Anderson don't even have the skill Jared Anderson has. You see what I mean? He doesn't have that skill. I mean, I think he's a much harder puncher than Jared Anderson, but skill for skill, Jared Anderson is better than Fabio Wardley. It's just Fabio Wardley is willing to go through hell and high water, but then here's the deal. What about Jared Anderson made you think that he was a quitter? He never gave you that. I'm not talking about him being a quitter. I'm talking about his desire to get in there, not what he does when he gets in there. So hold on. I want people to understand about Jared Anderson. I'm not calling him a quitter. I'm not calling him like a pussy. I'm calling him an underachiever. Okay, there's a difference. Because how many times did he go down against Bakali? 3 or 4 times? How many times did he get up? 3 or 4 times. Correct. So you can't say he's a guy that spit out his mouthpiece and said, fuck it. No, I didn't say that. I'm saying that mentally, the breakdown with Roy Jones and the comments that he made, like, dude, I don't even like to hit the elbows. I don't like to hurt my hands and shit. I think he lacks desire. Okay? That's a difference. That is the difference. I think he lacks desire, not, you know, not heart. But then here's the thing: heart is desire, isn't it? Like, so he's not trying to show people how good he is. No, he just wants to get fucking paid and go home. And unfortunately for him, he needs a lot of soul searching, and he needs to find something else to do. And maybe boxing may not be that. Maybe he needs to, search for a higher power. Maybe need to go to church. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it is, he's got into some stuff that you start thinking like, for what he's doing, he shouldn't be getting into this type of shit. He should be kind of, playing it safe, laying low. Hopefully his child that he just had is, keeping him level minded. But no, he's a better boxer than Fabio Wardley. But he's supposed to be. He's been doing this a long time. So Fabio Wardley's a guy, a novice at best. But he can hit you with that one hand cannon. Moses versus Noakes. Who you got? I don't know who Noakes is, bro. So I gotta, Roel. Good morning, love from Amsterdam. Counterpunch to you, brother. Wardley has a chance if he catches Dubois. Dubois might down tools again. Maybe. I give Fabio a good chance, but here's the thing. If he can't put Dubois away, Dubois is going to give him the blues. That'll be a good fight, though. I still think Frank Warren has love for Daniel Dubois, and I think he has love for Daniel Dubois. He has a special thing for Daniel. Think about it. How many times have Daniel been beaten now? 3 times. Once by Joe Joyce, second by Usyk, third by Usyk. You know what I mean? And Frank's still there. I think he has a good shot. He's trying to get back in there. Right? So, yeah. BVO Sports TV, hashtag STN, salute. Counterpunch to you. Did he almost get knocked out by Marios Colias? I don't know who that is. That the underdog, 30% chance. No, man, but you got to keep in mind, Dubois got a good jab, and that'll be a good fight. That was Jared Anderson's last fight. Oh yeah, Colias, right. I remember that fight. No, you can't say he almost got knocked out. He got caught. Sure. But no, I don't think so at all. I think that Jared Anderson just, he'll have the Andy Ruiz effect. If you give this man $5 million, you'll probably never see him again, unfortunately. You won't see him for years until that money gets dried up, spent up, fucked up. When he blows that $5 million, he'll have a good time spending it. He'll have a time of his life at a young age, because Jared Anderson is only, 24, 25? He's still a young lad, man. That dude's a kid. So, because he's like 23. Yeah, he's like 25 now. If that, he might be 24 still. Give Jared Anderson some money. His ass will be he'll be in Vegas all the time. You'll catch Jared Anderson in Vegas, walking out, smelling like weed. He smokes weed. So, he'll be smelling like weed, and it's Vegas. It's legal. Jared Anderson will be blunted out, man. You get that man $5 million for a fight, win, lose, or draw. It don't matter. He'll be totally unfocused. And look, I'm not just getting on Jared Anderson. I've seen it happen before. It happened way before Jared Anderson. It happened before Andy Ruiz. The reason why I mention Andy Ruiz is It's just Andy Ruiz showed you what happens to somebody when you give them that opportunity and what they do with that opportunity when they get that opportunity. They blow it because they don't know how to handle it. Andy didn't know how to handle that shit. That's why you ain't seen him fight in a long time, because he still might have some money. If Andy got $1 million in the bank still, that's what's keeping his ass from really being hungry and really making a fight. Really getting his dad's ass to do his job and get him a fight, promote the fight, sign the paperwork, get the other fighter to sign the paperwork, get with Al Heyman, to get the fight done. I think Andy may still have $1 million. Andy Ruiz may still have, if he has an M in the bank. If he has an M in the bank, if Andy can look in the bank and see six digits, 7 digits, that's why he ain't fought. Think about it. This dude would fought as a replacement. They gave him $6 or $7 million. After taxes, okay, he might have cleared 3.6. Then he's the champ because he whooped AJ. He comes back and they give him 13. It's over with. Andy's career was done at that time. You didn't see Andy Ruiz fight. So 19 was over, right? So he got beat by AJ. AJ took those belts back, but in return, he got a $13 million check. So then he probably cleared about $6 million, $6.9 million. Because everything else, the taxes, the team, the sanctioning fees or whatever, if he paid them, right? So no, that was 19. So this man probably still had about $8 million. Clean and clear. Andy probably had about 8 mil. Then 2000, no fight. 2001, he waited all the way to May? Then he fought Chris Arreola. He got paid that day. Then the rest of 2001 went by. Then 2002 goes by. The end of 2002, was it up the end of 2002? He fights. Another year goes by. He fights Luis Ortiz. And when he fought Luis Ortiz, they gave him another M. Okay? He did nothing in 2023. So think about it. So this guy goes, he fights twice in 19. He fights none in 2000. He fights one in 2001. That's it. 2002, he fights at the end of that year. 2003, he fights none again. Then 2024, he fights Jarrell Miller at the end of that year. Then he ain't fought none in 2025. I'm telling you, Andy Ruiz got to have some money still. That's why he ain't trying to fight. Andy Ruiz still has money. And as long as someone like that has money, he's not going to fight because he ain't hungry enough. We know what it's like for Andy to be hungry. He's begging all the time. Please, Eddie, let's get that fight. But now he's only selectively calling out people. He wants AJ for a trilogy fight, right? Or he wants Wilder or Ngannou or even Jake Paul because he knows all of those guys are going to supply him M's. This motherfucker's entitled now. Yeah. Andy's he's entitled. This motherfucker's spoiled. For everybody that speaks Spanish, Andy Ruiz, él es el mimado. Él es mimado. Este hombre es mimado. That's all he's thinking about is the people that's only going to get him paid. He ain't thinking about fighting Wardley. He ain't thinking about fighting Dubois. He ain't thinking about fighting none of those motherfuckers that will give him problems. No. He wants to fight the people that will get him the money, the feria. That's what he wants because that's what spoiled him. Andy Ruiz is ruined. He's ruined. Have you ever heard him talk about fighting Joseph Parker? No. because he doesn't want to fight someone like Joseph Parker. That's risk versus reward. He ain't fighting nobody like that. What are you, crazy? He ain't fighting nobody like he wants to fight an AJ or a Wilder, and who really knows if he wanted Wilder? Because, you know what I mean, they just kind of bullshitted back and forth. Better take that money, Andy. Andy, you better take that money. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, what money did you ask for? He's supposed to supposedly asked Tyson Fury for $20 million, if you guys can remember that. $20 million. So that means he's just trying to fight someone for a payday. He don't care if he wins or loses. He just wants to get paid. He just wants to get paid. He did a shoulder surgery. Chet Perry, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Blame the Turk. Well, you can't say blame the Turk. The Turk, he cut out all the bullshit. He cut out all the bullshit. So you can't say blame the Turk. The Turk cut out all that bullshit. So all these people that said they wanted to fight, okay, you really want to fight? Okay, no tune-ups. You're going to fight the hardest fighter. That's how you had so many people that got their ass whooped. And like Andy, like Wilder, you see what I mean? Joshua. You know, a lot of these guys got beat. Not the first go-around, but the second go-around, the third go-around. Yeah, eventually they got their ass handed to them. You know, so Turkey did a good service to boxing, because without Turkey, we would have had bullshit fights that we wouldn't have never had an Otto Wylien versus AJ. We would have never had a Fury versus Usyk. That fight would have been drug out. They probably still wouldn't have fought, because the Tyson would have thought that he's just the best fighter that history ever developed, God ever developed. And because of that, his ego's way the hell up in the clouds, and he would have still been calling Alexander Usyk a rabbit and you know what I mean, and all this little bullshit. It took Turkey to say, look, here's the money, get your ass in there, Tyson, and show us what you can do. And he showed us that he's not better than Usyk. End of. That's it. Anthony. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, you got to get the fuck out of here with that shit. Yeah, get him out of here. Yeah. Dubois beat Miller. Why not he fight him? Well, he's not going to fight Dubois, because there's not money in fighting Dubois, because Dubois is not a champion that warrants Andy getting paid by fighting someone that's not a champion. You see what I mean? Now, maybe if Dubois would have done something crazy like beat Usyk, sure, he would be the guy to fight, which would be a good fight. You think of Dubois taking on Andy Ruiz, that would be a pretty good fight, because Andy's explosive. It's just the dude, I'm telling you guys, Andy made too much money. You hear Andy, he's probably, you know, I think he's always kind of been subconscious about the way he looked. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I have fat people in my family, and, you know, some of them have kind of a, what do they call it? A complex about being a certain size. So you're going to see Andy on the treadmill. If you notice, you always see him on the treadmill. That's what fat people do, because they're always subconscious about how much weight they're losing, how much calories they're burning. You know, they got that type of mentality because they've been fat and people have been calling them fat. They've been obese their whole life. And I think that you see Andy's, you know, I'm on the treadmill, I've got an hour in. Yeah, he's going to do that because he's always been obese. Who is Moses going to fight? Bro, I don't know. I don't know who Moses is going to fight. My best guess would be Team Usyk may drop one of the belts just to see what they do with it. Let them fight over it, and let one be the winner. Let one achieve to be the champion. You know, I think that's what they're going to do. Thoughts of the next Pitbull Cruz fight? Cruz is all right, man. He's an all right fighter. You know, he's a nice little scrappy fighter. As of 2026, some will be paying for an ultimate package on the zone for up to 12 pay-per-view. Turkey invested in the zone, so he part of the problem. Pay-per-view, how that working for PBC? Yeah, and you notice what they're doing. They're trying to give you an illusion that they've changed, and they haven't. I'm just going to be real. They haven't. I mean, the zone was supposed to be, because I remember what the zone's supposed to been. It was designed as a subscription service only. And under that subscription, you had the vault, you had different sports, but most importantly, you had no pay-per-view that people could afford if you just pay your fucking bill every month. If you paid your subscription, you got some of the best fights that were included on the zone. The zone was the Netflix. So imagine having Netflix and then something on Netflix comes about and makes you pay extra for. Let's just keep it real. It's bullshit. It's a scam. They're contradicting backstabbers. Just keeping it real. Because I was one of the guys that was promoting the zone to the utmost. I was one of the first guys in America that got the zone for $10.99. I was one of the guys. If you go back far as you can, 2018, 2019, 2020, I was promoting the zone because there were people that was still on a pay-per-view minded platform were hating on the zone. And I'm like, well, that ain't cool. We get more fighters. We get pay-per-view. You had Canelo Alvarez saying, hey, pay-per-view screwed him and Michael Buffer. And look, man, and for what they're doing now, it's bullshit. They're just trying to make some money back, and if you didn't like to spend the money that you spent, you shouldn't have spent it. But don't make people pay for it, because over here, they're doing, like, I don't even know if I'm going live tonight, because the thing is, I ain't got paid yet. And that being said, it's like spending, what is it, about $30, $49, $59 for something that may not live up to the hype. Now, I'm paying for the David Benavidez yard. That shit's going to be fire, because that's going to be a hell of a undercard. Norman Jr. versus Haney, Better Biev versus whoever he's fighting. Yeah, that's going to be, I'm going to pay for that shit. But this, like all these cards this month, I don't know if I'm paying for all of them. I'm just going to be real. I may go live just to talk about the fight, but I might not commentate that shit, because I don't want to spend that money for something that may not be what it's supposed to be on top of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a free service based on, not even free. It's supposed to be a subscription service. Now, here's the deal. What people are going to do in America, I'm going to be real with you guys. What we going to do over here, we going to get sick of that shit. Yeah, it was $2.99 in the UK at first. Yep. People are going to get sick of that shit. If you keep on forcing people's hand, all they're going to do is get a Fire Stick and watch all that shit for free. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. I'm just being real with you. Fuck around and find out. People keep on taxing people, overcharging people. People are going to say, okay, motherfucker, let me go up to Best Buy and buy me a Fire Stick and get this shit jailbroke. And look, and I like the zone. I like the zone when it works the way it was promoted and promised to work. But all this extra shit, you're no better than fucking Al Heyman with that bullshit with Fox and Showtime. You know better then. Turkey also going back on that. Benavidez yard was supposed to be for free. That was what Turkey said. Yeah, see, fuck all that. So, no, that's not cool. You want to see how something organically is. And how do you know it? Give it to people. Pay the fighters and give it to people. Al Heyman even Al Heyman started that way, though. Al Heyman was supposed to have free TV. Remember that? Fox. What was it? It was Fox. Or was it Fox? Yeah, it was Fox, Showtime, or was it on an ABC or CBS? So it was CBS Network. You can watch boxing on free TV. Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, them motherfuckers almost lost their mind when they heard that. So, but yeah, I mean, he's trying to make his money back from all that money he spent on getting guys like Tyson Fury in the ring finally. Now that bitch is retired. So, you know what I mean? It's like, look, it is what it is. That's what it's about. The money that he spent getting certain fighters in the ring, he has to make a return on. That's what it's about. You know. Kurt, do you know what's happening to Bob Arum's top rank? No, I don't. I don't. I don't know what's happening to him. I don't know what's happening with Bob. I just hope Bob is in good spirit, good health, and good strength. That's all I can tell you about Bob. Bob is an icon of boxing, you know. It will be a sad day once he passes. Hell, it'll be a sad day for Don King, you know, because you got people that are getting out of the sport that are much younger than any of those guys. You know, fighters. You know, Victor Conte just passed away. You know what I'm saying? Kurt, do you know what's happening to Bob Arum's top rank? Oh, I already read that. The Ring 4 card was free until a week ago. It's bullshit. Yeah, that's bad. You know. Now, if I worked for DAZN, I would have to have a different perspective on it. But shit, because I could afford to. But at the end of the day, how do I really feel about it? It's bullshit. You don't do things like that, man. You don't do people like that. You don't lie to people. You don't say one thing and do another. You don't do two-faced bullshit. You don't do it. Okay. Next, Clarissa Shields. Clarissa. You know what, though? I'm going to keep it a buck, though. Clarissa Shields, she's a person that she wants a certain following. She wants a certain following. She wants that respect. She wants that juice, you know, and the way she's going about it, she ain't gonna get it. Kurt, do you know Turkey is trying to now work a separate deal with both Joshua and Fury to make it happen for 2026? Yeah. I mean, he's got one fight. I mean, he got the Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury, and he got them to do that twice. You know, and I don't know, man. You know, this is almost like I'm so sick of talking about AJ fighting Tyson. Tyson is a retired man. I'm so sick of his bullshit. I'm so sick of you know what I mean? Like, I'm just tired of it. And then AJ ain't fought in over a fucking year, so his stock is dropping. Tyson Fury is fought, you know, he's retired, and I'm coming back, and no, I ain't. And, you know, people get tired of that bipolar shit, man. I mean, I really get tired of that bipolar shit. Because if you think about how a fighter's supposed to be, he either wants to fight or not. I never seen somebody that undecisive about what they feel about something. If he's supposed to love boxing like that, you know, he's supposed to come back for a particular reason. If he don't want to come back for a particular reason, then just go the fuck home. And I'm telling you guys, man, it's all for me involved. Like my opinion about Tyson, Tyson gets tired of them badass kids at home. He gets tired of them kids. You know? And I'm not saying that he doesn't like his kids. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't love his kids. But you can love your children and you don't have to like them. Shit. It's just your obligation to take care of them. But you don't have to like your kids, bro. And I don't think he does. You know, because a lot of eye-opening things happen on 2020. 2020 made a lot of people, like everyone had to stay at home. Everyone was scared. Everyone was paranoid. You know, do you have the jab? Did you take the vaccine? Did, you know, the non-vaxxers, the pro-vaxxers? You know what I mean? You know, did you go into Walmart? Are you wearing your mask? Are you using social distancing and all this type of shit? We had all of that to worry about. But what you also noticed is divorce rate went up 60%. The divorce rate was 60 fucking percent. I'm telling you guys what I know. 60%. Because people realized that they were married to people that they didn't even like. This is facts. They didn't like the people that they were married to because they had such a structure of not being there at a certain time. Like, okay, shit, she gets off at 2. I go to work at 3, so I don't have to see her anyway. I get off at 11. She goes back. So what's the ratio of time? Shit. Fridays and Saturdays, she's off. I'm off Sundays and Mondays. So a lot of times people didn't even have to deal with each other until the pandemic. Why am I saying this? What does this got to do with boxing? I'm talking about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury knew what it was like to hang around his kids. His kids were some little shits. And they showed him, you know, it was, get out of here, you little bastard. You know? And that being said, you know, he probably thought about it. Like, I'm going to retire. And then he probably thought, like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't retire. You know? Maybe I shouldn't retire at all. So it is what it is, man. So he may go home and, you know, you can only get drunk at the pub so many times. Because maybe Paris, you know, started, you know, saying something to him like, yo, you can't get drunk every day and come home wasted, crawling in the house from the taxi cab, kicking taxi cabs and stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's all about structure. But even COVID, you know, it was kind of scary because there was no, you know what I'm saying? Like, what could you really do in an abundance? Like, you know, like no one could tell you to stop doing anything. you know, especially a guy like me. I mean, nobody told me what I could and couldn't do, you know, except, you know, definitely was places you couldn't go because they were closed. You know, you couldn't go to casinos. You couldn't go out to the clubs because all the clubs were closed. You know, so. Oh, man. As a parent, sometimes a man or a woman, you need alone time with other grown-ups. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got a friend of mine, man, he's helped raising this kid. And when I call him, man, and you could tell he spends most of the time because he home trains his kid. So he doesn't have a lot of time to talk to like adults. So when you do talk to him, you can tell he craves that conversation. You know what I mean? And just talking to an adult. So I definitely feel that, man. I definitely feel that. So imagine you're talking to an 8-year-old all day. You know what I mean? You can't talk to them the same, right? So it is a big difference.
Usyk versus Caballo should be the next cause. Be next cause Warley is a new mandatory. But no, I don't disagree with that, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. Because Wardley is from the UK. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, Derek Chisora, who else? Joe Joyce, Dillian White, none of those guys are champions. They are looking for another British champion, period. That's how it is. They're looking for another British champion. So whoever British is going to get the nod. Watch what I tell you. So that's why they're trying to see which British fighter, Moses Atoma or Fabio Wardley, is going to get the next opportunity to become champion. We already knew who the unified champion is. We already know who the undisputed champion is, right? That being said, they're trying to see which fighter is worthy to fight Usyk. That's it. I want to see Bakali versus Zhang. They are both in the same position. Would be a great fight. Yeah. Here's the problem, though. I think Turkey's not trying to spend that type of money on Zhang versus Bakali, unfortunately. And I would love to see that fight because that's like Zhang, that's 600 pounds in there. 300 versus 300. Those guys, one from Africa, the other one's from China. You know, one fight could be in China, the other fight could be in Africa. Explosion. Explosion. So, I would love to see that fight. But I don't think Turkey's trying to spend money on that fight. I don't think he's trying to spend money on that type of fight. Because, again, he spent so much money on Usyk, Tyson, then Tyson Usyk, right? To the point where I don't think that he can, I can't say afford. I just think every guy that spends a certain amount of money on something that he's interested in, I think everyone has a limit. And I think because of that, I don't think that we'll get a Bakali versus Zhang, which is sad. Because I miss the days of reckoning, the KO Chaos, the Ring of Fire, and all that shit like that. I miss those venues because those were tournament style, and it was almost like everyone that fought on the tournament he's not bringing them back. He's not resurrecting. He's not recycling these fighters. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you forgot about Caballo? Caballo ain't lost. The only person that he's really praising is Usyk, and then, you know, or Tyson Fury. And I'm like, what about Caballo though? What do you got against Caballo? What do you got against your Muslim brother? African bush elephant versus the Chinese dragon, Bakali versus Zhang. Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. But Usyk versus Caballo should be next. Well, I would like to see Usyk versus Caballo, but waiting to see Usyk versus Caballo is like waiting to see Erislandy Lara versus Floyd Mayweather. You're just not going to see fights like that. I'm sorry. They're just not going to happen. You know, they're just not going to happen. Because certain fights don't get made for certain reasons based on risk versus reward. See, as far as Usyk's concerned, these interim champions, I don't think they mean much to him anymore because I think in his mind that he feels that he's done enough. So I'm really in the mindset of Lennox Lewis. And you guys know me and Lennox Lewis we don't really see eye to eye a lot of times, but I do feel him right now. However, I'm going to tell you why. Lennox Lewis wants Alexander Usyk to leave on top. I think he should. Why? Because if him or his team doesn't feel that there's anyone else that's worthy to fight him on a challenging level, then leave the sport. What are you wasting people's time for? Your interest is not there because you don't respect the fighters that's there, right? However, I do think there is some bias because of what Lennox Lewis. I think the reason why Lennox Lewis doesn't want Usyk to continue is because he doesn't want him to do more than he done. There you go. Who does? That's his legacy that he's messing with. He doesn't want him to keep getting undisputed and undisputed and undisputed. Because now in the next 20 years, you're not going to think about undisputed would be Lennox Lewis or the last undisputed Lennox Lewis. You're going to think about Alexander Usyk. That's legacy. Do you see what I mean? So there you go. It's like waiting for Trump to release the files. Caballero has the best chance to beat Usyk out of everyone in the division. You know, I've noticed Caballero. I have some videos coming out on Caballero that I'm working on. I got about 4 videos that I'm working on right now, and Caballero's one of them. Caballero is looking good, man. I'm gonna give you more detail about that in that video. Why should they do the deal with Ike? He is like 50 plus. He should fight Luis Ortiz. I don't want to see Ike Barabucci again in the ring, to be fair with you, unless he's fighting someone his age. Because I don't think it's fair to him. He's been out of the ring damn near 30 years, bro. And he comes back in, he's in shape, but that doesn't do him justice. His boxing ability, his physical ability is nowhere where it was. And I think, it's an injustice to himself going into the ring. And I would hate to see him beat by somebody that couldn't hold a candle to him when in his prime. If that makes sense to anybody. Even Wardley has better wins than Wilder now. Yeah. Cole from Martin. Why should they do a deal with? Okay, I already got that. Wardley versus Wilder. Where's the one gonna end? Where is it? I don't know. I would watch it. Wilder versus Wardley would be good. UK versus USA. He pretty much already stole his persona, right? Yeah, you got to go with Wardley now, though. But I think Wilder's a little quicker, but Wardley's definitely tough. So, guys, I'm gonna search for this Claritin D. Skrilla 50, what's up, my brother? I'm gonna jump off of here, but I may be live for the Lubin versus Ortiz fight later on today, to be announced. My nose is killing me. I gotta clear this up. Love you guys. I will talk to you later on. More videos coming to you. Until then, everyone has been Counterpunch. Skrilla 50, I know you probably didn't get the notification, but I can't do nothing about it, man. We've been on here an hour. So catch you guys another day. I'll probably go live Sunday. Until then, I'm out. Peace.